So, one of the things that I was reflecting on is karmic relationships. Relationships where you go through that cycle of making up, breaking up, getting back together, and why that is that happens. I know for me personally speaking, one of the things that drove me to go back and forth with unhealthy relationships is that ride or die mentality. Feeling like I have to stick this out because this is all I know. We've done this together, we've done that together. We've been here, we've been there, we've been through this. Thinking of all of the different equations and occasions where, we spend time and not wanting to throw that away. So I felt somewhat of some type of guilt and obligation to, stay in that situation, no matter how I may have been mistreated or, how I may have been unhappy or I felt a lack of love or support, but eventually, needless to say, I realized that, loyalty is a privilege. It's not an obligation. And one thing about being loyal where you're not appreciated or where you don't feel like you're valued, you lose respect for yourself. It's not a good feeling. You start to lower your own self-esteem. You start to lower your own value. So I wanted to talk about 3 things that I think are important to consider when it comes to taking somebody back, when it comes to getting back into a karmic cycle that you may be questioning or, considering, is this what I want to do again? And one of the questions that came to mind is, what are the conditions driving my decision? It's so much that has to do with intention in life. And I feel like this goes along with intention. Sometimes you can be driven by emotion or driven by, your surroundings or your circumstances, the position that you're in your life, and you not realize it. It's a subconscious program that's just making you react. So I think this is so important to be able to look at, what is really driving me? What is really causing me to choose this person? Am I making this decision out of lack? Am I making this decision out of fear? Because anytime that a decision that is made out of anything that's not love for first and foremost self, it's liable to be the wrong choice. And one thing that I can say is that, no matter what the circumstances or the conditions are, those things can change. But one thing you can't change is another person. And I think that when it comes to karmic cycles and, unhealthy relationships, that's one thing that you can try to convince yourself of, that, this person is going to change because of my love, or, eventually, things will get better. I can change this person, when, that's pretty much like being delusional, feeding yourself something that is hurting yourself at the same time. So I would say that's number 1. What are the conditions driving my decision? Now, another question I would say is good to ask when it comes to considering taking somebody back is, am I willing to fully forgive this person and accept the responsibility if they, create the same pain again? I feel like this is a huge one because it's just human nature to keep a dialogue or a history of the things that happen. It's not just in our mind, but in our energy and, our experiences. Those are things that, can be in the back of our minds. And as that saying goes, forgive, but don't forget. You know, I think it's important to be able to forgive and not remind that person, you know, of the past. And if it's not something that, you know, you can really get past and feel like you're going to be mistrusting of that person, it kind of defeats the purpose of even getting back in that whole relationship again, going through that whole process again. You know, so I feel like that's number 2. You know, am I willing to fully forgive this person and leave the past behind us? You know, and trust that, you know, this time is going to be different. You know, because there is that chance that, you know, things may be the same. Getting different results from the same individual is not a guarantee. And I think for me, one thing that I would convince myself of is because time had gone by, you know, that mean that person changed. You know, surely they have a different mindset now. Surely things will be different this time around because time has passed and things have changed in my life and in my mindset. But that's not always the case. So I think that, you know, taking that into consideration is good too, because, you know, you're not being delusional or whatever of how there is that possibility of getting similar results. But, you know, if things don't pan out, you know, you are able to say, this was just an experience. This was just another experience for myself, and I can move forward and I can let this go, or whatever the case may be, and not beat myself up about it. So that's number 2. Am I willing to fully forgive and accept the possibility of enduring the same pain? And number 3, the third question I would say is good to consider is, do we share the same intention for this resolution? You know, and what I mean by this is, can you genuinely see change taking place? Can you visualize this happening? If there's any doubt in your mind, any reserve in your spirit, any anxiety, any hesitation in your heart, you know, those are signals from your body telling you that, you know, that's what you truly desire, you know. And that's something that you should listen to. And, you know, sometimes I feel like, once again, when it comes to intentions and relationships, you can have the best of intentions for somebody else or for a connection. And at the end of the day, you don't know what's going on in their brain. You know, they may be thinking something totally different. So I feel like that's also a huge thing to consider when it comes to getting in a relationship or getting back with somebody. You know, do we have the same desire? Do we have the same intent for this connection? You know, if you want to get married or if you want to have a family, this person and you are on the same page. You all are both working towards those same goals, so that, you know, you're not just spinning your wheels, and you know that you're not just wasting your time spending time with this person for the hell of it, you know. I feel like there's this misinformed belief that you are who you attract, but in some cases that's not the case. Sometimes you end up in a bad situation as a result of a low vibration. And if you know, end up with somebody that's mistreating you or cheated on you, or, you know, whatever the case may be, I think that's also something to consider. Because sometimes, you know, in life, we can feel the need to settle because, once again, the time, the comfort, the familiarity, the conditions of the situation, when all you have to do is raise your vibration, you can attract what it is you deserve. You can attract better. You can attract what it is you desire. So I think that's also something to consider if you feel like you're stuck, or you feel like, this is it. And there is that chance that, you don't have pure intentions from that person. So I feel like, it's just good to be able to see if you can see a future, if you can see things truly changing, and if it's like you got to break your eyesight or you got to struggle to really like see things happening, you really have to force it to fit, I feel like that's telling you what you need to know as well. So that's number 3. Do we share the same intention for this resolution? Do we fit the same page? Are we in the same chapter? Are we going in the same direction? And, communication is key. Communication is definitely key. I would say another thing about relationships and, resolutions is also just having a level of detachment in general, because, things change in life. We outgrow people, we grow. And it's just good to have a good idea that you are going in the same direction, but have some type of level of realisticness to it, to where, like I said, if there is something that happens, you're not taken off guard. You're not taken by surprise or, left devastated because things didn't turn out the way that you hoped that they would. So that is it for this video today. 3 things that I feel like are good to consider when it comes to taking someone back. If you feel like this video was helpful, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Drop a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on this topic, and I will catch you in the next one.